Reduce stress and anxiety, boost confidence with a free tool that boosts your mood in only 2 minutes. I know this is possible because I was able to use this technique to help me transform my life. My name is Carlos, and I was stuck in a cycle of anxiety and self-sabotage because of CPTSD, of trauma. But implementing this tool together with other techniques helped me transform my life, and I was able to land my dream job, feel much more present and in control, and to find love as well. I am passionate about mental well-being because I was able to experience this transformation, and I want others as well to experience this change. And I want to share with you how can you achieve this change, to be able to gain control in your own life and feel much more present and happy. One of the things that I struggled the most to believe, but actually it was a game changer and helped me to stay much more present, much more grounded, and able to self-regulate my own emotions, it was body posture. We can do a quick experiment. Can you check on yourself? How are you sitting? What's your position now? If you are open, curved, slouched? Because actually there's science behind that on how our posture is received by our brain and can regulate how are we feeling and perceiving ourselves. We'll check 3 different body postures that you can implement in your life in different situations when you need to be more grounded, in control, and have this confidence boost. We'll check the science behind those postures and how our body can actually regulate our hormone levels and cortisol. And if you want to go directly to check those postures, in the video description, you've got the link to go straight to the posture. Now let's get to learn about it. We are constantly scanning body postures, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. We can easily identify in public figures or politicians if they are standing tall with open postures. We can easily tell they look more confident and courageous. Whereas if we think about people with a hunched position, more closed, they are not perceived as charming. And what about video calls or other settings? It's the same. When we see someone on a video call standing upright, open posture, relaxed shoulders, we can perceive this person as much more confident and present. Whereas if we see someone that it's sitting and maybe it's like looking to the sides and more closed, then we can tell that this person doesn't look as present or paying as much attention. Now, this is the piece that really surprised me, because the way we are standing or sitting is sending a signal to our body, telling the body in our brain, how are we feeling? How is our perception of ourselves? So this means that by using the right body posture, we can help ourselves to trigger or make it easier to feel positive emotions, to feel more confident, more present, and as well minimize negative emotions. So this tool can really enhance how are we feeling. And actually, as a side effect, if we are holding right posture, we are going to avoid neck and shoulder pain from sitting wrongly. This is especially important for people with persistent anxiety, sustained high stress levels, or dealing with trauma or CPTSD, like it was my case, because these conditions tend to generate too close in our body posture. So actually this posture is not only reflecting how we feel, but reinforcing those feelings. And this is actually what happened to me. When something didn't go as planned, it would really sink my mood. And then I didn't know how to self-regulate. So I would try to distract myself doing different things, resting, but sometimes it could take days until I could feel grounded, back in control and happier. I didn't know that actually when I was experiencing those setbacks, I was lowering my head and closing my posture, and I didn't know that this was reinforcing those negative feelings and keeping me at that situation. But I was able to implement this, and then when I would suffer any setback, it wouldn't last as long. In fact, I was able to continue being grounded, present, and just keep going and keep myself confident that I could manage myself. And by the end of this video, you'll learn how you as well can do it. And now, while you are watching this video, if you want to receive more information about different techniques and tools so you can as well work on your anxiety and trauma, in the video description, you can register yourself in the I Got Through program to receive more information on how can you get started. Let's get to it. How comes that body posture plays such a role? Well, let's see some examples. In sports, when a team wins, what do? They stand tall, open the chest, raise their arms into the air. They celebrate. We can tell easily by their posture how they are feeling. And what about the other team that didn't win? We can see on their posture that they are closed, hunched. we can easily tell that they are not feeling as fulfilled. This is such a natural thing, right? And now another example, what about if you are walking and you come across a friend that you've not seen in a long time? Well, what happens is that your face will light up, you will feel much more open, maybe you want to hug this person, you radiate this warmth and joy. It's so easy to tell, right, how our body posture changes because we are this happy. And now let's compare this situation. If you come across someone that you don't want to see, maybe an ex or someone with whom you've had frictions, for example, at work, how do we react in those cases? Well, we can close down and we hunch. Maybe we don't want to see this person and avoid body contact, right? You can tell immediately by our body posture that we are not feeling comfortable and we want to avoid this encounter. And this is exactly the message that we are getting into our head, in our system, and helping generate a set of emotions. And the great part about it is that posture as well plays a big role in setting our hormone levels and our feelings. So we can use this to our advantage to self-regulate. This was found in a study in Harvard University, where the test subjects, by just holding this posture for 2 minutes, had profound effects in their own feelings. And actually, my favorite part about this is that they measured as well how they were being perceived by other people. So meaning that not only these people in the experiment felt better and more confident, but actually other people perceived them as more confident. People holding open or expansive positions, also known as a power pose, they were able to raise testosterone up to 20%, which is the confidence hormone, while as well reducing cortisol, the stress hormone, up to 25%. This is a profound change. Then in this study, they measured the opposite as well, how closed positions do the opposite. They raise cortisol while lowering testosterone. In this same study, they found as well that people holding power poses, they were 33% more likely to take action because they were less anxious, feeling more confident, and they were more likely to succeed in stressful situations. And that's what we want. When we are feeling challenged or stressed, that we are feeling confident and in control, so we avoid going down the stress and anxiety spiral. Your brain is reading those signals from the body posture, which means that we can consciously adopt the posture that is reinforcing the set of emotions that we want to feel more of. And how does it apply for people struggling with depression, with trauma, low mood? Well, that was actually my own case, that I needed tools to be able to break the thought pattern and avoid altogether going to these very low places. And it was my psychologist. She was the one to introduce me to the body posture. And at first, I was so used to be tensed and closed that I struggled to feel present in this posture. But once I was able to feel the difference and feel present, this is when I understood, okay, if I just hold this posture and I try my best to hold it when I'm sitting at work, studying, or during everyday life when I'm walking, that prevented going to these low places and avoided me getting into those negative self-talk. And this is why so many coaches and therapists are incorporating this tool within a broader treatment plan as a technique to help this natural tendency of trauma and anxiety to close the body posture that actually is reinforcing these negative feelings. Additionally, trauma-sensitive movement practices suggest that intentionally setting a body posture can significantly reduce the symptoms of PTSD and be a great tool to help in emotional self-regulation. While the scientific community is still debating the effect of the body posture on the hormone levels, there is already strong evidence that this can help in our self-perception and in self-regulating. Personally, this is something that I have incorporated and that has helped me massively to remain reconnected with me in a healthy way and be able to take the steps to transform my life. That said, power posing should be seen as a complementary technique, not a replacement for therapy, which I encourage you to seek if you are struggling with depression, persistent anxiety, or trauma. If that's your case, in the video description, you can find a link to receive more information about the I Got Through program, where working with me, you can get started in your healing journey. When I first experienced these changes and how the body posture could help me regulate my mood, I was wondering how comes that no one explained to me what's the system, the mechanism that helps me feel better by changing my body posture. We all know about the 5 traditional senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. But what if I told you that there are 3 additional senses that explain this effect? These are proprioception, interoception, and the vestibular system. These senses are telling your system what's happening inside of you and how are you interacting with the world around you. This is fascinating. Let's break them down. Proprioception is your body's ability to sense its place in space. This is what explains that you can touch your nose with your eyes closed, or you are able to walk without staring at your feet. Proprioception is critical for our sense of movement, coordination, and balance. This is how we read our position in space. Interoception is your internal awareness. This is the sense that reads the internal signals of the body. So for example, like understanding if you are thirsty, hungry, sleepy, or you are feeling anxious or stressed. A strong interoception sense will help you to self-regulate and understand how are you reacting to different situations. And the vestibular system, that is your balance and spatial awareness system. It is located in the inner ear, and it detects the position and movement of your head in space. It helps you to stand upright, move smoothly, and feel stable while moving. A well-functioning vestibular system helps in focus and reducing dizziness. These are the senses the body has to read our posture. And now, instead of letting the emotions dictate our posture, we can take the opposite approach and take consciously the posture that reinforces the emotions we want to feel, so we can be more confident and minimize stress. Now, after we've checked how actually our body posture can influence our emotions, let's check what are those positions. We'll check those standing up position and one while we are sitting. The first one is the Superman or Wonder Woman pose. This is very effective from shifting from fear and senses of helplessness into feeling present and confident. Use it before high pressure situations like a job interview, serious discussions, an argument, maybe a public talk, when you need to reinforce this sense of confidence. It's also helpful when you're feeling anxious, powerless, or overwhelmed in general, and you want to regain these connections and sense of stability and being grounded with yourself. This is very helpful as this posture reinforces emotional stability and a sense of control. To do this pose, stand tall with straight back and your feet under your shoulders with the same width apart. Then you place your hands in your hips, open your chest, relax shoulders. And that's it. Hold the posture for 2 minutes. When you're in this position, try to feel yourself grounded so that you don't feel any tension or stress in your shoulders or in your neck. When you are relaxed and standing tall with an open position and head lift, you can start to feel more grounded, more present, more in control. And you only need to hold this posture for 2 minutes. The second one is the victory pose. This is a very effective position to enhance the sense of achievement and happiness and very quickly shift the mood. It counteracts depressive and low emotions by activating the reward system of our brain. It's very effective in replacing negative thoughts loop with positive one. Use it when you need to feel motivated and capable, for example, before exams, competitions, or public presentations. It's also great for celebrating achievements, as small as they can be, which, by the way, celebrating achievements is a great way to rewire ourselves by celebrating and reinforcing positive behaviors. The victory pose helps you to break self-doubt by energizing yourself when you are feeling low. Now, how to do it? Just stand firm, straight back, with the feet under your hips, under your shoulders, and you just raise your arms. Now this is giving this V posture, which is giving the name to the posture, V of victory. Open your chest and be aware that you're not feeling any tension in your neck or in your shoulders. And to reinforce the effect of this posture, you can imagine yourself achieving success in whatever the challenge might be. And then holding this positive image in your head is going to reinforce the effect of this posture. The open-seated posture is great for everyday settings, when we are at work, in front of the computer, reading, or in general in any social setting when we are sitting. It prevents collapsed postures that might be triggering a sense of helplessness or shutdown. This posture helps better breathing and helps to regulate our nervous system by creating a sense of openness and safety, while also minimizes tensions in our body and contributes to an overall sense of well-being. Sit with your feet flat on the ground for stability, then straight back and lean into the chair support. Then with shoulders down, relaxed, upright, straight. And to keep this posture, avoid being curved or sideways, but standing straight without crossing your arms, without crossing your legs, and your forearms as flat as possible, maybe while you are writing or working on the computer. This sense of openness, this posture, is going to help you feel much more present, grounded, and in control. This is a very easy to keep posture, but I also must admit that, for example, myself, when I get very interested into something that I'm watching on, for example, on the computer, I hunch and I get very close to the screen because I want to get to know more about it. That's okay. And as soon as we gain awareness of our posture, try to recover. Also, another tip is checking the chair. That is one that we can feel comfortable with, and that is providing our support in the lower back and our shoulders. So we don't have to be weight to back or lean forward while we are working. So this is overall supporting our well-being. While you are doing this open seated position, check that you don't have any tension in your neck. This might be happening when we are getting too close or too hunched in front, also on your shoulders, so we can keep them relaxed. Now we've seen 3 different positions, so we can feel more confident or have a sense of achievement or be more grounded and present while we are sitting. Let's check what are the commonalities, so independently on the situation that we are facing, that we know what are the basics so we can hold ourselves the right posture. Number 1 is holding the neck and the back, our spine, straight but comfortable, not tense and stiff, but straight and relaxed. Number 2 is keeping our shoulders down, relaxed, not hunched or tense, but soft and easy down. Number 3 is chest opens, which allows for fuller breathing and signals confidence. And this happens naturally just by standing tall and relaxing our shoulders. Number 4, feet grounded flat on the ground and distributing evenly our weight among them. And 5, and lastly, is breathing deeply. When we are hunched or curved, it makes it easier to breathe shallower. But by keeping an open posture, we are making it easy for ourselves to breathe more calmly, slower, deeply, and holding ourselves in control. On a final note, check on yourself how you feel doing these postures and make sure that you're not having any tension in your neck or in your shoulders, and try to find what works best for you, so you are not forcing and feeling tense. That's what we want to avoid, to feel tension. And as you get used to these postures and you get used to feeling energized and more present and more confident, something will happen, and is that you will be naturally drawn into these postures because your system will remember how it feels much more regulated, much more present, much more confident, and progressively you will be able to hold these postures and feel much more confident and present throughout the day. Let me share something personal about posture. At first, when I was integrating these postures into me, I felt a bit off, honestly, because that wasn't how I was moving through life until then. So I felt like I was being forced and kind of, in a way, faking these postures. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I just wanted to feel more present, more in control, and more positive feelings. And I remember I had to catch myself when I was in a bad position that, okay, yeah, let's stand tall. And as I was incorporating this standing tall and sitting open during daily life, something started to change. Whereas previously, at first, when I was starting to implement these positions, I remember having to sit or consciously hold the position for 2 minutes. But gradually, in a way, my body got used to it, and it was natural to hold those postures and to be in this position throughout the day. I felt much more present and confident, and I was able to do tasks that before would have been very challenging, and I am not sure I would have been able to do. But this, I believe, was a big factor that gave me the confidence I needed to be able to face those challenges and start feeling more confident and changing my life. And I remember the first time that I was holding a difficult conversation, and unexpectedly I was able to speak up and reply. And I remember thinking, oh damn, this is something completely new in me. But this is what started to shift, that I understood that by holding this posture, not only I was able to improve my feelings and my sense of confidence, but actually in a natural way, it was enabling me to take action and be able to do this change. But before reaching that stage, younger me, younger Carlos, had a way lower stress threshold, and many challenges or difficult conversation would have been impossible to have without freezing. And when I started to implement this posture, I felt fake. Now I know that this is called the imposter syndrome. And this is completely normal. It's part of growing, it's part of changing, that we are adopting new behaviors until they become normal. This is normal that we feel that they don't belong in ourselves because, of course, we are replacing old behaviors. And if you are feeling that this is something new or feels a bit off, you are not the first one to feel in that way. That was as well my case. But day by day, as I was feeling this shift and feeling more present, and when I noticed that I wasn't going down the stress and the thought spiral, that I was holding myself positive and much more present, then is when I started to believe in myself and all the changes. So, and slowly, I was able to let go this imposter syndrome. And then came the weird part that I had never foreseen. People around me started to notice that I was feeling more confident, more open, more present, more spontaneous. But some of them actually tried to pull me back, saying things like, "Hey, Carlos, this doesn't look like your normal yourself. Something is changing. This is not the real Carlos." And that was something that I could not understand. I had enough challenges dealing with my own stress, with my own anxiety, and then some other people trying to pull me down. But fortunately, at that time, I was going to a gym doing martial arts, and in my case, that community actually was much more happy and welcoming to celebrate how I was feeling much more present, and they were able to support me in this own self-discovery and growth journey. That taught me the lesson that there's people, they feel maybe challenged when other people are feeling better. And I cannot encourage enough to try to look for people that actually support you and your healing, and that instead of trying to pull you down, but I instead motivating you to be yourself, to be your best, to be who you deserve to be and feel much more present. And so I focused on being with much more positive and constructive people. So I just continued in my own growth and healing. Then something that made me smile happened. After I gave a public talk to an audience, a young man came to me and said, "Hey, Carlos, how do you manage to talk to an audience and look so present and so confident?" And I remember thinking, oh wow, something must be really changing, because I was not even aware. I was just present and doing the presentation and actually enjoying myself. So I actually replied to him that that was not how I used to feel, how I began. That I remember talking to an audience, my hands would be sweaty, my mouth completely dry, my knees shaking, really. So I replied to him that, yeah, on one side, of course, practicing talking to people, but that one of the bigger factors was to normalize to be in this posture that is supporting my well-being and boosting my confidence. Until that, holding a straight forward pose, an open posture, was boosting my mood and helping me when I needed to show up confident and, of course, do my job and deliver the message to an audience. So yeah, I was very happy to help this young man, which I know now that he's doing great. And this is what I learned, that at first when we are implementing changes, it doesn't feel like natural, but then over time when they become a part of us, actually just becomes second nature. It becomes a natural state because we get used to feeling positive, and of course we want to reinforce those feelings. And it's completely normal that when we are starting to implement those changes, we can feel a bit off. But this is not going to last that long. We often think that change starts in the mind, but actually our posture can be a big deal in achieving this change and feeling much more present. By just holding our posture for 2 minutes, it can completely transform how we are feeling. And then overall, we can keep this posture throughout the day to help us. I cannot encourage enough to adopt a proper posture, not only to prevent pain in the neck or in the shoulders, but to feel much more present and grounded. And if you want to incorporate this and other techniques into your life and heal from anxiety and trauma, check in the video description to the I Got Through community. This is a program I created to be able to break the cycle and heal from trauma, just like I did, and help you achieve the same transformation. Click on the link in the video description to receive more information about the program. I hope you found this video useful, and I am looking forward to seeing you soon.